Nancy Schlicting is a powerful woman in healthcare, the outgoing CEO of the Henry Ford Health System. As she prepares to retire, she's sharing a very personal story, including the moment her mother learned her daughter is a lesbian, which happened in a very public way.
She was in a dialysis unit in the hospital I used to run in Akron, Ohio, and she screamed as loud as she could in front of all the staff who knew me that nothing would appall me more than if you're a lesbian.
Now that was a turning point, and Schlicting recently sat down with our Paula Tutman for a candid talk about her journey, struggling for acceptance, and the moment her life changed for the better.
When I was Chief Operating Officer of Riverside Methodist Hospital.
Nancy Schlicting, Chief Executive Officer of Henry Ford Health System, reads to a huge crowd from her new book, Unconventional Leadership. But she is not reading a bedtime story.
An anonymous letter was sent to the CEO of the health system and all of the trustees of the hospital. Essentially, it said, "Congratulations on hiring a lesbian to run your hospital."
She's reading one of the most painful chapters of her life, the day she was outed as being gay and forced to leave her career.
It was the worst time in my life in a number of ways. My mother was dying of cancer. I'd left a job I loved, and I was forced to abandon my career aspirations simply because I was gay. But I wouldn't change what happened in Columbus, because it is part of what made me who I am today.
She was a junior at Duke University when she figured it out. It was as simple as it was complicated. She fell in love with a woman.
I was a closeted lesbian. I did not ever tell anyone, including my family. I remember going to one of the Duke bookstores and looking for some literature, some book on being gay, and there was one book, but it was extremely secretive. You know, you certainly didn't do things out in the open.
Keep in mind, this is before the days of gay pride and talk of tolerance.
There's a lot of self-doubt. There's a lot of feelings about, acceptance and, understanding that you probably will never get married in your life. You'll probably never have children in your life.
But for sure, the seemingly impossible was achieved on a day she vividly remembers.
Congratulations.
The day the Supreme Court upheld the right for gays to marry, paved the way for her greatest personal achievement, to marry the woman she loves.
When that Supreme Court decision came through, I thought, oh my goodness, how amazing. I think probably the greatest feeling of support and acceptance I had was when my partner Pam and I got married.
Everything had become possible when you grew up gay and survived it in corporate America.
My sexuality is part of who I am, but it doesn't define me. There's so many things that I think, all the ingredients that build us as people. And it's our families, it's our education, it's our experiences in life. It's the things we overcome. You have no idea what you can do in your life, and I didn't.
She really did, and her resume is simply too long to list. But let's do some of the highlights. I mean, providing health care for homeless, gay, lesbian, transgender youth, also handpicked by President Obama to chair that Commission of Care for veterans. 15 of the 18 recommendations are now going to legislators to vote on. Her mother was afraid she would not reach her potential because she was gay. Oh my gosh.
She proved her wrong.
What do you think her mother would say now? She does retire at the end of this month. She's not going to put up her feet for a long needed rest. She's going to dive right back into it. But what an incredible story.
I like what she said, saying her sexuality is part of her, but it doesn't define her. There's so much, and we, as a society, so many times try to put this label on people.
You're absolutely right, but had it not been for her struggles because of her sexuality at that time, she probably would not think the way she thinks right now, and that changed healthcare for millions.
Great story, and that's going to help a lot of young people,
I
too.
hope so.
Yes, all right. Thank you, Paula.
You're welcome.